This is Zichru Daf Simanim Gemara Basra Daf Kuf Ayin Beis. Now Kuf Ayin Beis is a little bit difficult over here, but if you scramble the letters, you get Eikev. Now Eikev is a heel, so Kuf Ayin Beis Eikev. Your heel is going to be the heel of a boot, and as you see in the picture over here, everyone's wearing boots. So point number one is you have someone over here who's a star in his boot. Why? Because we're trying to remember that we're on Daf Kuf Ayin Beis. It's an Eikev, it's a heel, so the star is in his boot, and it's a star of 100 zuz, and he would like to swap it for 2 shtaros of 50, which he is not allowed to do. Point number two is you see over here two people with the same name, Yosef and Shimon, and this guy is quite irate, quite upset. Why? Because he cannot collect from either of them because they have an identical name. Of course, they're wearing boots also because we're in Daf Kuf Ayin Beis. And finally, point number three is someone also in boots on this stuff about the Eikev, the heel. This guy as well is picking up a star that says, I borrowed money from you. So we have 3 points on Daf Kuf Ayin Beis, the daf about the Eikev, the heel, our boots. Point number one is we have a star of 100 zuz cannot be swapped for 2 stars of 50 zuz. Point number two is we have these two people happily, gleefully walking around in their boots. Why? Because their name is Yosef and Shimon. And 2 Yosef and Shimons in one city, you cannot collect from them. Point number three is a star that's picking up. It says, I borrowed from you. So let's go deeper into these 3 points. Point number one, you cannot substitute a star for 100 and 250 shtaros zuz, 2 shtaros of 50 zuz each, or vice versa, says Rava. If a star says they hold 100 zuz, you cannot swap it for 2 shtaros of 50 zuz, unless, of course, the malva is masking. Why? They made a takana which is good for the malva and a leiva. A single star, 1 star, is good for the malva. Why? Because when you pay partially, you know the malva still has the star, and you, the leiva, are going to have to guard the shayvar, and you're going to be compelled to play quickly. It's also good for the leiva. It's also good for the leiva. Why? Because the malva star is going to be impaired. That therefore you're going to have to swear before collecting. Similarly, you cannot swap vice versa. 2 stars of 50 for a star of 100. Why? Because 2 stars of 50 is also good for both of them. Why? The same reasons in the reverse. Point number two is, again, we're at Daf Kuf Ayin Beis, the Eikev, everyone wearing boots, those 2 people smiling, whistling. Why? Because their names is Yosef and Shimon, and therefore 2 people with one name, Yosef and Shimon, in Yochel Loitzi Shtar Chayiv, Zel Zeh, they cannot collect one from another. Why? Because you could always say, no, it wasn't me, it was the other guy. And no one could collect from them for the same reason. Point number three is someone who has a star that says Mimcha, from you. Just from you. It doesn't say what's going on over here. So there's a star in Rav Huna's Vezin which says, I pleni borrowed a mana Mimcha from you. It doesn't say from who. Rav Huna says from you can mean anyone, even Reish Galusa, King Shapur. So the stars, the person holding the star cannot collect with it. Rabbah quotes a brisa which says a get to eat it with just hayoim, we say is the day that it's in Bezdin. So maybe from you should as well mean whoever has the document. However, Abai, of course, argues it says no. A get doesn't need a date, but over here by the star, we have to worry that it's fall chayish linafila, which is, of course, the third point is the guy in his boots. On Daf Kuf Ayin Beis, Eikev, the heel of the boots, he's picking up the document because we're chayish for the nafila. The star was lost by the true lender, and that's the reason why you cannot collect with it. So in Daf Kuf Ayin Beis, the daf all about the boots, the heel number one. The star of 100 cannot be swapped for 2 stars of 50 or 250 for 100. Why? Because it's something good to the malva and good to the life, and therefore we don't let you switch the star. Point number two is Shnei Yosef and Shimon Darim B'Yerecha, 2 Yosef and Shimons in one city. They cannot collect from each other, no one collect from them. Point number three is star that says, I only borrowed Mimcha from you, cannot be collected from, of course, everyone wearing boots, the heel, Daf Kuf Ayin Beis, the Eikev.